Supernatural Season 14, Episode 17, Game Night. Now, of course, before we get into the review for this episode, the big thing that happened between the last episode, I think technically, by the time I saw the episode, I think the news was like already first breaking, but I didn't actually find out about it until like a day or two after I did my review for the episode. But officially, for anyone who somehow hasn't heard the news just yet, Supernatural is going to be going into its final season next year. So season 15 will be the last one. So 15 seasons of angels, demons, hunters, angel hunters, demon hunters, all that good stuff. It is coming officially to an end next year, which is utterly insane. It's super sad. Supernatural is still my favorite show. So it's going to be crazy. I'm not sure what I'm going to do different for the final season, but I'm going to be doing something. I was thinking about it before. I was like, maybe I'll do like reactions for every single episode as well as reviews. And of course the reactions would just, come a little bit later, but I'm not 100% sure just yet, but something's going to be different when I do my reviews for the final season. I think I might include some stuff from this book here and do like little old excerpts, because this goes up to last season. Actually, this is up to season 13, so it doesn't have Jack in it, but it's got like every angel, every demon, every character that's been in the show. So I might read some old excerpts and be like, hey, remember these old creatures and stuff like that. So I'm going to be doing something special as we go into our final season of Supernatural. But of course, had to talk about that. Like I said, it was super sad. It was just like when I first actually saw it, I was just like, I was just like, this sucks. Like that's all I was thinking. I was like, this blows. Like I don't like this news. But that was the news in between these two episodes. So it was like, the last episode was like, all right, we got like a month-long break, and then it's like in between this month-long break is like, surprise, this is happening. And they also, of course, finished wrapping the last couple of episodes, which I believe was like March 26th or 27th. They actually finished wrapping this season up. So we're going into the final 3 episodes. I didn't realize we were that incredibly close to the end of the season, which is probably why they did the big break, because they were technically still filming, the last couple episodes. So they're like, all right, give us, a few weeks, basically give us a full month. So we're going into our final 3 episodes, and this was a really good episode to come back on. I didn't remember what the promo was because, of course, it was a month ago. But I was like, all right, it starts off, I thought it was going to be just a lighthearted, entertaining episode where we get a feel for the characters, which I felt would have been oddly poetic considering the news between episodes. It would have been like an oddly poetic episode to actually have that happen, where it's just the characters all together, having a game night. And it starts off really funny. I love that they were doing Mousetrap. I've seen that in other shows before where people try to make that work, and like it's actually way more complicated than everybody thinks, but it's the coolest thing. I still remember the Mousetrap commercials because it's like you do the whole trap and you trap the mouse. That's freaking insane. Like it blows everybody's mind, but that junk doesn't work. So I love that. Dean yelling son of a bitch was super funny, but it was a really fun episode. Cass was out doing his own mission where he's trying to basically find a way to talk to God. So that was awesome because we got a reference to this amulet, which I thought was super cool. So I figured I'd get mine off the shelf for this review. I don't know if it's actually been focusing on it like it should be. Yeah, so thought that was awesome. Of course, it didn't look like it. Didn't look the same. But thought that was really interesting. I was like, okay, that's very interesting. Like as soon as I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's, like that looks like this amulet, which I was like, this weird thing. I was like, that can't be the one, that they threw away in the trash or anything like that. I was like, it can't be that one, but it also could be, because who the F knows, they could come up with any random thing. But I thought it was awesome. It got a nice little throwback to the amulet. So I thought, all right, that's pretty cool. They try to get in touch with God. Like that's the whole point of Cass's mission. It's like, I need to get in touch with God. I need to find a way to contact him so that he can basically restore Jack's soul so that we have Jack back. And I thought that was a really cool element for his character to kind of, be doing his rogue thing, which is very rare. I totally forgot her name. I want to say it's Alice. I don't know why. I can't remember her name exactly. But, we get her coming back, and she actually ends up helping Cass out throughout this episode. And they kind of just go on the mission that basically just fails. That's pretty much it. And she's just like, I'd say it was like halfway through the episode, she started to kind of get to the point where it's just like this isn't going to work, and it. And eventually it does get to the end. And it's just like, I kind of don't want to say it, but you just got to accept the fact that what it is. Like, Jack's soul is gone. And however much is gone is just gone permanently, and what he is now is kind of just what they have to deal with. And of course, this episode, especially by the end, really touches on the fact that he's lost a bunch of his soul, which I think we already knew. So we go through the episode. He's having his little moments. He talks to Mary where it's like, you guys ask that a lot. And he's like, well, it's annoying. And it's like, okay, well, there's the start of it, because he wouldn't say something so brass like that, he would have said it in a much nicer way. Of course, going through the episode, and of course you have Nick doing his thing where he makes a big return, and seemingly he poisons Donatello. And it was super funny because as soon as they showed the syringe, I was like, that looks like the thing they use all the time for Grace, because it's always that exact same syringe, except it has a little glass slit in it so you can see that it's Angel Grace. And so I was like, that's interesting. That looks like the syringe that they always use for Grace, which it literally just dawned on me that it's the same every single time. Like, I never thought of that before until that moment, and I was like, it always looks exactly the same. This just, like I said, doesn't have the little slit on it on the side with the glass. So I was like, all right. He says he poisoned him. I was like, no reason to believe he randomly had Grace. But then it made sense. It comes up later in the story when, Nick is talking about it. It's like, where do you think I got the Grace from? Like, who do you think hid me after I killed that cop and had to go on the run? And it's demons. It was like his whole plan has been to get back in touch with Lucifer. So, of course, demons help him out. They're like, well, yeah, we want Lucifer back. He was in control. He keeps things kind of, contained outside of demons, trying to rise up and everybody's fighting everybody. It's like, well, let's just get Lucifer back, plain and simple. So I love that idea. And we got to see that a little bit extra, once the trap is fully set and, Dean's inside the building and then some other demons attack him and they do nothing. Ultimately, they end up losing like all other demons do. Donatello, it was funny. I was watching, I was like, I know Donatello's not a fighter, but I was like, man, I feel like he could help out like a tiny bit, like especially during the scene when Dean was like, struggling against the demon. And then he did like the classic reversal, which they've done, I don't know how many times, and he just flips it on him and he stabs it in his chest. And I was like, man, how many times have I seen that reversal? It's just crazy. It's what they do. But I loved it, and it was pretty intense, Sam actually finding things out, and he was pissed the whole episode. Like, it's just been, like, a weird spiral for his character. But he gets super pissed off, and then, of course, he finds out exactly what's going on, and that, things aren't what they seem. It's not poison. It was actually Grace. And, he pulled that gun on Nick. Was like, get out of the car now. And then they ended up having their fight, and Sam basically almost died. They referenced the perfect vessel thing, which I thought was actually pretty entertaining when Nick was like, you're supposed to be the perfect vessel and all this stuff. And he even calls himself that when he actually summons Lucifer. And I thought something weird was going to happen where Lucifer was actually going to deny him for like some insane reason. I was like, this, it seemed like things were going in slow motion, but it was basically just so that Jack could come in and be like, nope. And, he sent him back, which really surprised me because they did the whole summoning and everything. I was like, okay, it's about to happen. And then it was like, now you get out of here. And I was like, oh, all right, well, 3 episodes left, especially by the end. I was like, well, 3 episodes left. I don't really know what to expect anymore. I don't know, I don't know where things are headed, but I love the way that played out. Of course, Jack basically loses his mind. He's pissed off. He doesn't actually kill Nick, which is what I thought happened. I thought he burned him enough to where he died. It didn't seem like it, but the way he was like laying still on the ground and he was like kind of toasty, I was like, oh, I guess he's like officially dead. But then of course in the promo he was fine and Jack healed him up and everything. But I was like, okay, everything's good there. He took him down. Clearly he's losing control. Goes, saves Dean. Then he comes back and he has this conversation with Mary. And of course this is where things get intense because we don't know what happened just yet. We don't know if she's dead or what he did to her or where he sent her or anything like that. I would assume it's death. There's obviously the scene, where they actually show Nick and he's like, they'll never forgive you. So that could be anything. That could be Nick being Nick. He's basically Lucifer at this point. So, that would be a Lucifer thing to say like, oh, you screwed up big time. They'll never forgive you. That could easily be his thing where he's just trying to, get Jack on his side to be like, your dad would forgive you. And he already, with Jack like not having his soul completely, he's already, easily manipulated, or at least easier to manipulate. So that happens during the speech when he's like, man, your dad loved you like crazy and you tore his heart up. Stuff like that, it actually did have an impact on him. And it may have, even if he did have a soul, it's kind of hard to tell if he'd be a bit smarter about it. But I think that just kind of hits him to his core because, it's still that thing, even though he has his family, that was still his dad. He was still trying. So it was interesting, and I don't know exactly what to expect, but that ending was pretty intense because I was freaking. I thought they were just going to show it. I was like, I don't know if he's just going to, there's going to be like a snap moment or anything like that, reminiscent of, Lucifer's deal. And I think that would have been very interesting if that's what they did and he like, snapped his finger. Excuse me. But he's freaking out and I'm starting to freak out because I'm like, Mary keeps trying to calm him down and stuff. And he's going through like full crazy mode and like the ears are ringing and stuff. And he's like, stop talking to me or be quiet or whatever. and they're just going through it, and she's walking around him and stuff. And I was like, I'm freaking out a little. I don't know what's about to happen here. And of course, he looks up, and at first, I was like, okay, he freaked out. I thought maybe because we don't really see anything happen. I thought he was gonna shoot her backwards or something, and he'd freak out and snap out of it. Okay, that wasn't as bad as I was expecting. But then he looks up and it cuts, and I was like, okay, it's gonna be a bit intense when the opening happens, and you have like maybe 1 or 2 seconds to really take time to think about it, and then you hear him say Mary like really low under his breath, and I was like, oh man, that is gonna be that's a really great way to end it, and I'm very excited for next week's episode. So something bad happened. I don't know if Mary's dead. I don't know where she's at. Who knows? But I'm definitely looking forward to these last 3 episodes. Like, it's going to be really insane. And then to think that's going to lead into the final season of the series, which is just wild. So I don't know what to expect going into these last 3, but I'm definitely excited. I love the way this episode ended. It was very suspenseful. And then they ended on like the biggest cliffhanger they could, because I don't know, it's hard to say if I like this more than I would have liked them actually showing what happened, but them not showing it probably means that she's technically fine. She's probably just been sent somewhere else. I don't know if it'll be as insane as like somehow he mustered up the power and he like banished her to the empty or something like super crazy like that. But I'm excited to see what in the world just happened there. But I love the way they ended it, because I feel like that's the first time that's ever happened where they've ever done a part of the story has been in the actual title, where it's just like an actual extra word was spoken as the end title card comes up. So that really surprised me. I was like, not that I can recall, at least. It's much like when they a few episodes back when they faded to white and they had the black text on the white background instead of the normal black background with the white text. And it did something, just like a little thing, but it was very unique, where they actually have Jack say something after everything ends. And I was like, okay, that's scary. So I love the way they ended the episode. I like the episode as a whole. The promo has me excited. Both sides of the story, really, like what happened with Mary, what's going on with Jack. Of course, Sam and Dean finding out that Cass was like, okay, I think his soul's like gone. If it's not 100% gone, it's basically gone. Like, it's to the point where it's bad enough. And obviously we see that continuing, throughout this episode. So I'm excited for every aspect, of next week's episode. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Of course, would love to know what you guys thought about this episode. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it. Sorry, I'm coughing so much. But of course, I would love to know your predictions on what's going to happen in these last 3 episodes. But the big thing to really talk about, of course, with the ending of the series coming up next year, I want to know your feelings on that. What happened when you first saw the news and it was definitely official. It wasn't like possibly this, possibly that. It's like, it's just ending. If you haven't seen the clip, it's Sam, Dean, and Cass, but it's our main 3 actors, was Jensen, Jared, and Misha. It's them saying that the series was ending and stuff like that. So it's a heartfelt video for sure, because they've been doing the show for going on 15 years with season 15, and so you could tell that like they were crying and stuff like that before they actually got to the point of doing the video. So it's definitely an interesting watch if you're into the show like I am. So if you haven't seen it, I'll look it up. Hate that it's happening, but of course would love to know your feelings on everything. What you would like to see, going into the final season. The biggest thing I think they could possibly do is just have everybody come back, that's still alive. Who knows? Maybe ending of the series, they gotta have God come in there. He's gotta come back at least. I always thought that was gonna be the end, where God finally showed up, but been there, done that, which is insane. But maybe he'll make a return. Maybe we'll see him return. Maybe we'll see Amara make a return as well. We'll see the darkness with the light and all that good stuff. But want to know how you guys are feeling about the news and going into the final season. And of course, like I said, definitely want to know what you all thought about this episode. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.